Hello everyone, it is me, Kyle Strudwick, and we are here today to do a little review. We're going to review two products, and it will make sense why we're doing two in one. We're going to be reviewing the Shure SE215 and the Shure SE535. They're both called the SE model, and they're both Pro at the end. So you've got the Shure SE215 Pro and the Shure SE535 Pro. Blimey, too many numbers, too many letters. I'm not very good at this. So, we're going to talk about these two products. What's good, what's bad, why are we doing them two together? Let's get into it, guys. Let's crack on. So the two models are very similar in terms of what they do. They're both in-ear monitors and they're both for professional use. So they're not supposed to be for, you know, Bob who's had some headphones just to walk around with. They're perfectly good for that, but they're not designed for that, shall we say. Now, let's start with the obvious differences. When you buy these, they obviously cost different amounts. The 215s are cheaper, the 535s are more expensive. It's kind of how cheap and expensive works, right? Now, they both come firstly in different little pouches. As you can see, this one's kind of like a soft carry case. It feels nice, but it's soft, squidgy, and, you know, just cushiony. This one here is a solid kind of hard case. Very good. Both of them are do what they need to do. You know, they're cases to hold your headphones in. The obvious difference between the two is the price. Now, the 215 retails from Shure at told a complete lie. 115. So £115 you'll get the cheaper model. It's not the cheapest they do. That is the 112-GR, which is £60, £59, £60. So it's kind of, you know, the first one of these style that they offer in the range. Now, these are my backup pair. If my primary pair fails, I've got this pair with me in my bag in case of emergencies. And these are the pair that I take with me if I'm walking out and about on the street and I want to just go for a little walk, you know? These are what I'll wear. The more expensive, now these are the second from top in the lineup. You've got the 846 Pros, which are above these, but there's a big jump again on those. So 115 over here and 399 for the 535. So a big jump in price, £400 for these headphones. If you go for the top of the range ones, they are £929. Not worth justifying for me at the moment. Maybe in the future, but not now. Those are the kind of major, you know, differences in terms of the pricing, in terms of what you get in the box. We'll talk about these in a bit more detail now, starting with the 215. Now, if I'm mentioning what is different, I've got to first start by mentioning what is the same. And really quickly, what is the same? Well, they both come with a detachable cable, and they both come with, you know, the little carry case. Those are fairly obvious similarities. I'm going to say bud, but the bit that goes in your ear looks a little bit like this. As you can see, it's got that weird kind of shape to it. It nestles into your ear quite snugly, and this is a detachable little cable bit. As long as I do it correctly, you kind of just pull it and it comes apart and it looks a little bit like that, and this and this. So these are detachable, and this cable, I'm pretty sure if memory serves, is replaceable between the two parts. So if just my headphone, if the cable broke, I would just buy a new cable and use my spare cable for my other buds. They're both the same shape, size. As you can see, these are both the left-hand models. As you can see, they are the exact same in terms of what they look like and all of that, bar obviously, you know, the branding on them is a bit different. But they look the same, they fit in your ear the same, they go on this little cable the same, they twist fully, and they're very good like that. So, those are the similarities in terms of that. They both offer, you know, the decibel reduction, they both fit well in your ear. Let's go a bit more detail about what is different. Now, starting with the 215s. So, as you would probably imagine, they are obviously, quote unquote, not as good. These only have a single audio driver in them, so there's only one speaker in there. That provides your mids, highs, lows, your bass, all those sort of responses that you would expect. So you don't get as rounded of a sound. It's all being pushed through that single driver, which some people argue has its own pros in itself, but in terms of, you know, clearness of sound, more drivers the better as such. So that's kind of what we're looking at from there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretty much nail some pros and cons off and go from there, and then move on to the fives, and just talk about them in a general level. Now both of these, and I'm going to say this, the problem I've got with this video here is a lot of what I'm going to say resonates with both of these in-ear monitors. They are both very, very comfy. They both block out a lot of background noise. They're both very easy to wear once you're used to them. All these sort of things really do cross over between the two models. When I bought the 500s, the 535s first, as my primary pair, and then I liked them so much that I bought these other pair as my backups. So, you know, there's a lot of things that they both do really well. And the design is really comfy, it's nice and chill. I wear them behind me, under my shirt, so it goes around that way behind me. And then to say, if I've got the right ear, I think I've got the right, I do. They fit into your ear really, really simply. Pop it in, turn it over, and that's what it looks like. It's really, really simple. And all of a sudden, I can tell, I can hear the drop, and I can hear everything that's gone on. Easy, comes out, job done. Nice and simple, nice and easy. It feels comfortable, guys. So, what are the pros of these? Firstly, obviously, the price. They are not cheap, because obviously I can pop out to the shop and buy a £10 pair of headphones these days. But for what you get, they are very well priced. The sound that they produce is phenomenal. If I'm walking around, I use these walking around listening to music if I want a bit of peace and quiet. They are fantastic for that. They sound so good. In a club environment, they still sound perfectly fine. I've used them as to test, you know. Obviously, they're not quite as refined as the other ones, but they, in terms of what you're getting, fantastic. The case is nice. It's lovely to have a little carry case. I hate, you know, if I bought a pair of headphones and they didn't come with something, I'll be a little bit annoyed these days. And they come with loads of these attachable buds, you know. You can pick which ones you want to have in your ears. So do the other ones, of course, so do the 500s, but that's a comment on both of these. So, all in all, again, I run out of things to say that don't quite cover both. That's one of the big problems I've got with this video, is both of these options cover both of these headphones. The cables are good, the sound is fantastic. So, it's kind of the main difference, and what I'm really trying to establish and get over in this video, is if you want a cheap pair that obviously has some drawbacks, buy the 215s. The sound is obviously not as clear, it's not as well bodied, it's a little muddy. Not much, but there's a little bit of muddiness in there because it's all through one driver. So it's not quite as responsive and clear as that. Maybe they're a little bit bass heavy in terms of what I would want from a flat response headphone. Maybe a little bit in terms of DJing, but they're still phenomenal. They are still fantastic. And for £115, you really, really, really can't complain. I would definitely recommend these, and I would definitely buy them again. As a backup pair, they are spot on for me. If I was just starting out in the world and I wanted in-ear monitors and I was just starting in small clubs, 100% these would be a great, great buy. You would not be disappointed. Let's move on to the 500s, then I can round up this rambling a little bit better. So, we've talked about the 215s in a they're really good view, and a lot of what I'm about to say is transferable between the two. So let's talk about the 500s. Here they are. Now, the one thing that I didn't mention actually is the 500s came with the old attachment from 3.5 to 1/4. The 215s didn't, and that surprised me a little bit, but it is what it is. These, obviously, the 535s have a triple driver in them. They have 3 speakers, I guess is the way you want to say it. 3 speakers which provide a fuller audio experience. Hence 535s, because that 3 designates there's 3 drivers. Hence 215, sorry, 1 driver. 425s, which has 2. And then the 846s, which, as we were saying, is the top of the range, has 4 drivers in them. So the 535s here, they are my go-to in the clubs now. I wouldn't even consider, would I consider, yeah. I mean, if there was a situation that called for it, I would, of course. But I would not be using anything else but these, ideally, in a club. And I'll cover a video as to why I've changed to in-ear monitors and why and how I found that from headphones in a different video. So I'm not going to touch on that now. I am going to say the sound on these is phenomenal. The sound on the 215s is good, but this is just incredible. It's so clear. I work in clubs that are incredibly loud. Like if I'm DJing in Brighton, main room, it gets very loud, and especially if if there's where you're on stage and where you're moving away, especially like think about festivals. That's where you see a lot of DJs using in-ear monitors. It's similar sort of things to where I am. Nowhere near in a big scale, of course, but similar. All the audio is pointing out towards the dance floor. The only place I've got speakers towards me is the monitors on stage, which would be next to me. But of course, if I'm using those monitors, I have to crank that loud enough that I can hear it over what's going on out in the room. Obviously, in-ear monitors get over that fact. And the fact that these have the decibel drop option, as they both do, as I've said, they both have this. But the fact this drops the audio to mean that I don't have to use my in-ear monitors as loud as I do out there is just fantastic. Both of them, as I've said, again, I'm going to repeat myself a little bit here because it's worth saying. They are both incredibly comfortable. It took me a little bit of time to get the comfortable fit, I will admit. My 535s, I had the wrong buds on, and I was putting on my 215s going, why do these feel better? And I realised I had different buds on, so I then had to change them, and then I was very, very, very happy. They're comfortable. For some reason, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the weighting. They don't feel different to me in hand, but I don't know. Maybe there is. I find the 535s are a little bit more comfortable, just a little bit. Maybe that's just in my own head. Maybe that's because I think they should be, but they feel a little bit better for me when I'm using them. The cable feels, maybe it's just because I got a bit of a dodgy cable, or I don't know, but it feels a little bit more malleable around here, so it makes it easier to get it round my ear. Whereas on my 215s, I think again they should be the same cable. It just doesn't feel quite as malleable. Say they should be the same cable, so it shouldn't be a thing, but it's worth noting. What are the drawbacks of this? Well, price technically on the 535s, because they aren't cheap. £400 for a pair of headphones isn't cheap, especially if like you're a mobile jock and you're a bar jock and you're paying this, or it's not a full time, or it's just a hobby and you're only doing 1 gig a month. £400 on a set of in-ear monitors is a lot of money. It's not really worth doing, I guess. But for me, when I'm jocking 2 nights a week, every week, £400 on an investment isn't a lot of money, and it's well worth doing. So you've got to weigh that up, guys. Money, technically, yes, a bit of a drawback, but again, what you get for the price is fantastic. Now, the answer for both of these is going to be the same. Would I buy them again? Yes. Would I recommend them to a friend? Yes. Which one would I recommend? That's going to depend on the budget and the needs of the person I'm recommending them to. If I had someone that, if they have the money and they have the need for it, 535s, fantastic. I would recommend them, no shadow of a doubt. If they're too much, or they're not, not the requirement for them, the 215s are fantastic as well. All in all, guys, I was very, very worried about moving from headphones to in-ears. These are fantastic. I've used kind of spare ones before, and I didn't really get along with them well, and it was a big concern of mine whether I was making a good decision. I wholeheartedly am very, very happy with my choice that I've made here. It's a bit of a weird video, as I've said this multiple times, because a lot of the things in these are very similar. They've got very big similarities, which is why I didn't do 2 videos, because I'd basically just be repeating myself like I am in this video, except it would just be twice as long. They've both got fantastic feel, touch, response, not touch, but you know what I mean. They're just good. They are good. They really are good, and I wouldn't want to try another brand. They're that good. Sure, there might be better out there. Maybe, I don't know. Am I incredibly happy? Do I regret my purchase? Not at all. So, as far as I'm concerned, that is a big, big, big win. The only reason not to get them for me in my book would be if you don't have the requirement for in-ear monitors. You know, if I'm doing a venue where people are coming up to me every second, like as a mobile jock, I might not use these, because if I've got people coming out to me all the time, it obviously does make it a little bit harder for me to hear people, because these drop the volume. of everything else around me. So it would make it a little bit harder. And you do lose a bit of tactile feel around the room. But again, I'll cover this all off in my video about swapping two in-ear monitors. So in short of a kind of a weird, very, very weird review of these two, get one of them. Just do it. Just buy one of them. You won't regret it. My short answer, are they worth it? Yes. Do it. Buy them. Sure, if you want to offer me some sort of referral, please do, because, you know, give me some money. But yeah, you know, in no way are they doing that at the moment. Sad. So, you know, for me, they are phenomenal. They're well worth getting. I'm very, 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 very happy with them. Hopefully you will be too.